I think that's how Joe Rogan does it. He'll just start talking, and they'll be like, "Are we live?" And
Yeah.
just so happens we're live right now. So, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode. What is this? Episode 6 of Hit the Bricks. Do we call it Hit the Bricks Live? I just call it Hit the Bricks.
Yeah,
There you go.
It just rolls off the tongue better when you just say Hit the Bricks. But yeah, how are you guys doing, Davey? What's going on in your life, man?
Life is good. I've work's been going well. A lot of fun on the channel, and guesting on other folks' channels and all that good stuff. I just turned 43 on Sunday, and
yeah, happy
everyone
birthday,
here.
Man. Happy birthday!
Thank you so much,
everyone. Happy birthday, Davey. That's awesome.
Everyone on I did a little stream that night. Everyone was so great. Just been having a lot of fun on the channel. So yeah, everything is rocking and rolling. Watching a lot of movies and all that kind of fun stuff too. I finally saw X, guys. I need to watch Pearl and Maxine. I know I'm a few years behind.
Hey.
So yeah, I'm playing a little catch up and then also going to the theater. So all is well in Davey Death Ray land.
Dude, I love that whole trilogy. I was a little down on Maxine, and then I watched it again when it came out to VOD or wherever, and loved it. Fell in love with it. I think all three movies have their own vibe going on, and it just works. It's kind of like what they did with Fear Street, even though I think the X trilogy is far better than Fear Street. Although I have fun with Fear Street, but yeah, man, that is one of my favorite trilogies. The X trilogy. Yeah, you can do no wrong. Wait, Nick, which one's your favorite of that trilogy? Or do you even like that trilogy?
What? Do I even like it?
Are you kidding me? I've heard tell of some people that don't care for the X trilogy.
You never know.
I have all three posters in 24x46s, but I don't have them. I don't have frame. I have like 30 posters that I don't have up because I need more frames. Yes, X was my favorite horror movie of. It probably still is my favorite horror movie of the last decade, I'd say. Yeah. Sinners is right there with it, though. That's how good Sinners was.
Dude, yeah, Sinners was insane.
I really liked Pearl. Very different, much more of a character study, psychological horror, slow burn, period piece, you name it. But I really liked it. It was just very different. And then Maxine, I loved Maxine as well. I would put X is my favorite of the three. I think X is just a throwback grindhouse slasher in the best kind of ways. I'm never going to complain about a movie with, Brittany Snow and Mia Goth, not. Anyway, so no, I really like the trilogy. But and then as far as like how things are going, man, I guess NATO is coming here to Dayton like tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure like the president and like a bunch of people are going to be descending upon my small town. I don't know why.
Wow.
Are they going to come down like in SWAT gear?
Yeah, I don't know. So they're like closing off roads and shit.
See Trump coming down in like SWAT gear.
And I'm just kind of pissed off because I'm like, great, this is going to make traffic awful because they're closing down a bunch of roads and shit. Why is NATO coming to Dayton, Ohio? No idea. You couldn't. I don't know. But
well, they do have an Air Force base there, and I think they got like a training center.
Right,
because
Pat.
when I was in the military, I had training over in Dayton for like a week or something like that. And they got some nice, like, I don't know, government facilities over there. So they might be doing some hush-hush crazy type shit.
Well, I've always said that if nuclear war broke out, I'd be screwed because Wright Pat is one of, like, the most popular military bases in the United States. And it's like 10 minutes from my house. So I'd be screwed.
That's it.
Yeah. But, yeah, so that's what's happening. Yeah.
Cool. David,
NATO
did you watch
and
all
Dado.
3 of the X movies?
No, I still need to watch Pearl and Maxine. So
holy shit.
Yeah, I just watched X like yesterday during the day. So
that's what I like about you, Davey, though. You're like, I don't need to watch this shit right now. I can just ease into it whenever I get around to it.
If it's worth it, I'll find the time. And I know I saw Destiny Faulkner in the chat there. I am going to start watching Twin Peaks tonight. So there you go, Des. A little something for you.
She's on.
Never seen that.
That's cool.
I've never seen a second of it.
The Twin Peaks.
Yeah, I know people have told me to watch it.
Me neither. Never. I've never been a Lynch guy though, a David Lynch guy. I watched like 10 minutes of Eraserhead and turned it off. I couldn't do it. It's just not for me. It's just not for me. So I don't know if I've ever seen a single. No, I saw the Elephant Man. He did the Elephant Man, right? I think he did.
Yeah.
And I remember, man, talk about a depressing movie. Jesus.
Yeah. His stuff is tough.
Yeah, man. We could do a stream of just like really depressing movies. I remember one little topic that I definitely wanted to jump on. Let me get the super chat real quick, and then I'll jump on it. Deshaun Cheney, he says, "Hey gang, until there's a movie, who cares what the concept art is? People be outraged at the wrong things in life. We've been watching you for years." Thank you, Deshaun. I appreciate that, man. Until there's a movie, who cares what's the concept art is? Oh, he's talking about Friday.
Yeah.
I had
the Jason universe. Yes.
I had to decipher that for a second. Yeah, he dove right in. He's like, they're talking about Friday. I'm diving in, man. That's the thing about our podcast. We might have a main topic and we might never get to it. Luckily, we have though. Let me say some hellos here. Let's see. We got Blazing Asian, Holly Girl, Jason Backtrack. How are you doing? Destiny, and I saw Chris in there. Movie Misfits, Blu-ray Addict, Ashton Luck, Kevin Munn. And I definitely wanted to give a shout out, and I think you guys will dig this. I got a comment. You go through your YouTube comments every day. You say hi. You give the heart, and I wanted to get his name here. Anthony's Horror and More. Anthony's Horror and More. He literally binged all 5 episodes of our podcast in a row, and he would comment in the comments along the way. I was just like, dude, that's the ultimate compliment right there. He watched he said he loves our banter. He loved the episodes. So Anthony, there's a shout out for you, man. We appreciate it.
Shout out Anthony. Anthony's been a listener of UNITA for years.
Nice.
So glad to see you come on over to the dark side, or the I don't know what you'd call it, but yeah. Shout out Anthony.
Christian just ranked Star Wars. It's like he fell into the Sarlacc pit.
I'm not watching it. I told him I'm not watching it.
I know. What are you doing, Christian? Stop it.
He put he's like, oh, it's a casual fan's opinion. I was like,
I'm
that's why I'm not going to watch it, because
usually I see the Christian daily video and I'm like, God damn it, he's gonna make me click on it. I gotta know what he's talking.
The classic clickbait thumbnail.
He's the master of clickbait, man. He knows how to make me click on that damn video, but not today. Not today. When I saw the casual fan stall, I was like, moving on.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Here's the thing, man. He hates a lot of Star Wars movies that I like. So I just can't. I can't bring myself to watch it. I support you, Christian, but not in this field, buddy.
It's not gonna happen.
No.
One little topic I did want to present to you guys, and I think I roughly touched on it in our little Hit the Bricks Boys group that we have over on Instagram. I watched, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but I watched Bring Her Back. I don't think Nick's seen this yet. Nick, did you see Bring Her Back yet?
No, I know
I think Nick's going to like this movie, because me and
I
Nick
know
it was the mystery screening last night, I think, for Regal. And my buddy Rudy was like, hey, this is the mystery screening. You still have a couple hours to go check it out. And I was like, I'm actually at work right now, so not going to happen. So I didn't check it out, but I was talking to Davey a little bit about it before we went live.
Yeah. It might be my favorite movie of I think Sinners is my favorite, but it's number 2. It's a lock for number 2. But you know what? It's a polarizing film. Immediately when I walked out, I was like, not everybody's going to like this. And some people might think it's just okay. But and I think maybe I'm learning something about myself. I think I like really heavy, dark horror shit. And it's not a conversation that gets had that often, as far as we all have our things that we like. Like some people, I like slashers, and some people I like, exorcist, possession type stuff. And I think there's another category that's just, you could call it depressing horror, or just really heavy, dark, like a movie that's probably not easy to watch, maybe like weekly. Okay. Like I couldn't watch Bring Her Back on a weekly basis. But man, did I just get sucked into that world. I loved the performances. I loved that it really went to some crazy freaking places. I'm not going to spoil anything, but the little topic that I wanted to bring to you guys real quickly is I have a critic buddy, Dan, and Dan's not a horror guy. But he's in the Orlando critics group, and he'll, sometimes he'll call me right after a movie. Hey, what'd you think? And sometimes he'll call me the next day. So he called me this morning, and he was like, I didn't like that at all. And he sounded like he was bothered, like something was really bothering him. And he's like, and I want to paraphrase, but he was just like, I think that movie really crossed the line because of, how it deals with children and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not speaking for Dan, but I'm just speaking like hypothetically for just a general person. Some of the subject matter in some of this dark horror stuff it could trigger a little bit. I'm not saying it triggered Dan, but I'm saying some horror can trigger you. Let's face it. Mm-hmm. If it touches on really taboo subjects, it can do that. But that kind of just brought an idea to me. I was like, hey, that is actually an interesting conversation, because I started thinking about my own horror history. Is there anything that I felt like that I've watched cross the line? I felt offended by that movie. And I have to say no. But there are certain horror movies that I just have no desire to watch, like Solo, I think it's called. And I'm sure there's some others. I want to get you guys' opinion on this, because we're all three horror fans, dyed in the wool. So is that a possibility for either of you? Like, do you feel like you could go into a movie that you know nothing about? Is there a chance like you might come out and be like, that crossed the line. I don't think they should have made that. Davey?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think so with horror. I don't know what it is. I would be more offended at something that was like poorly made or insulting with how it browbeats me with its message. I'd be more offended at that than I would be at something that would be depicted in a horror film. But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, like last year, when certain people got all upset about Terrifier 3, the prospect of art killing children.
Great example.
It was one of those things where I was just like, so you're okay with everything else? Like cutting somebody in half from like vag to face is like totally fine. But it's like, as soon as you put kids in the mix, it's like, it's not okay. I find it really odd. It's like, I mean, I think there are certain things that can kind of offend your sensibilities, or certain things that could be implied and be just as strong. But I mean, I haven't seen every movie. I haven't seen a Serbian film, but that, like you were saying, Lee, I don't really have a desire to see it because of what I've heard about it. Same. So it just doesn't seem like it's very much worth my time. But when I was in my 20s and I watched stuff like the original Last House on the Left and stuff like that, which is very, very difficult. There was just like a time in my life where I was more open to watching those things that were very tough, and just had like really heavy material. And as I've gotten older, I haven't desired to really watch those things. And like with Bring Her Back, like you're saying, I mean, I think like the performances, I love the performances. The movie looks great. I think if it's your cup of tea, you're gonna have a really good time. And ultimately, the thing that made me give it like I think I gave it a 3 out of 5. Is that I wanted more from it. And I'm the kind of person that likes slow burn. I like some ambiguity. I wanted more meat on the bone for this one to make me care a little bit more. But the things that it does so much well. So you might be a person that maybe you were lukewarm on Talk to Me and you go check out Bring Her Back and you're like, yes, that's what I like.
That could happen. That could happen. I was locked into Sally Hawkins' performance.
Performances are unreal.
I think if you're locked into her throughout the whole thing, and I think the brother sister duo, like I was really just locked into the character work in this movie, and I think that's. And I'm not gonna like talk too long about it because Nick hasn't seen it, but I guess swinging back to the topic at hand, I remember back in like the early 90s, for some reason I don't know why, I went down a rabbit hole of watching just some of the most depraved, crazy Faces of Death, I Spit on Your Grave. I just got it all out of my system in a week. And I came out of that. I needed a bath and a hug and a role model. It was really, really rough. So I understand people like Dan that say I don't think that should be made. But the thing I told this to Dan on the phone. I was like, well, Rob Zombie literally had a quote that has always stuck with me. Always stuck with me. He was doing The Devil's Rejects, and on the set of The Devil's Rejects, Bill Moseley, he's in the hotel scene, and Bill Moseley starts having like a panic attack. I don't know if it was an actual panic attack, but he did not like where the scene was going, and he pulled Rob aside and he said, "Rob, I don't feel comfortable with this scene. Like, this is really affecting me. What's going on in this scene?" And Rob told him, "Take a minute, listen to what I'm saying." And this is what Rob said. He said, "Bill, art should never be safe, especially in horror. When you're making a horror movie, you have to be willing to cross lines if you want to make that type of movie. If that story needs that idea to be told, do you want to sanitize? Do you want to talk about a movie that has a really dark, taboo subject matter, but we can't go there? We have to sanitize." No, the story deserves that respect. And so I always took that with me. The story deserves the respect. So sometimes if you're telling the story, it's going to be out there forever. You got to cross the line. I think that's why you might not like all of Rob Zombie's movies, but you don't forget him. You know that he went for it. He did not phone it in that day. And passing this to Nick, is there a movie to you that you feel like, I think this really kind of crossed the line?
Well, I mean, to the broader question, no, I don't think horror can go too far because I think that that's just kind of baked into the genre. It's supposed to shock. There's different subgenres of horror that shock you in different ways. Now, personally, for your taste, there may be things you don't like. I don't like to watch SA scenes in movies. It's just not something I've ever liked. I understand some movies it serves a purpose, like I Spit on Your Grave. I Spit on Your Grave one time, and I thought, wow, the revenge aspect of this movie is great, and you really love to see what she does to these people. But I just don't want to sit through what it takes to get there. That's just not. It's not for me. Now, I'm not going to go as far either to say that it means something if somebody does like that stuff or doesn't mind it, I should say. No, it's different strokes. And so but to the broader question, no, I don't think horror can go too far. I think horror has always been, it's always been niche. It doesn't seem like it recently, in the last couple of decades, but it really is more niche than most other genres of film. And people for the longest time look down on horror fans anyway. You're weird, you're nerds, you're this, you're that. So it's just kind of the fact that the genre has so many subgenres that branch out into different areas of shocking. I just feel like that's what it's for. But it doesn't mean you have to like it, and it doesn't mean you have to seek that kind of stuff out. I don't seek that stuff out. I love the remake of Last House on the Left. I think it is leaps and bounds better than the original. And I
agree with that.
But the scene in the woods, it's hard, man. It's not something I want to watch. I remember showing it to my ex-wife, and we get to that scene and she's like, "Turn it off." And I'm like, "Can I just fast forward through the scene?" No. My opinion is just colored on this movie, and I don't want to watch it. And I understand that, and I respect it, because as much as I love that movie, I've probably watched it 3 or 4 times, since 2009 when it came out, just because I don't find myself. It pisses me off about Rob's Halloween. I love the director's cut of his first Halloween, except the breakout scene. I think it's totally unnecessary. I think it's elongated.
It throws a wrench in the whole thing.
Yeah. I understand the inclusion of a scene like that in Devil's Rejects. I think it makes far more sense in that movie. In Halloween 2007, and Rob has said, I think he said in the commentary, well, back in the 80s and 90s, this would happen a lot in mental institutions. These late night employees, there were stories all the time of them assaulting inmates. It's that's great. I'm sure that is historically accurate. What the fuck do I need to see that in a Halloween movie? It's just, you know what I mean? It just didn't really mesh for me. But yeah, no, I don't think it ever goes too far. You should, if you're worried that something might go past what you can tolerate, do some research before you go see it. That's really all I say.
And I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but a couple of people in the chat, they brought up some directors like Rob Zombie. they tend to go for shock value just for shock value's sake. Like Trina here. However, it seems like Rob tends to add things just because of their shock value, not just because it's organic to the story and makes the film better. You know what? I do agree with that. Like, I'm not the Rob Zombie fanatic. Like, every movie he puts out, I'm not like, that's amazing, I love it. Some of the stuff I do feel like, even the first Halloween movie, sometimes I was just like, what is he it just feels like it's yelling at me. I feel like the screen is yelling at me. And I do think the story, it needs to have a certain pacing, a certain rhythm, a certain volume. And I think sometimes directors don't get it. I appreciate that he goes for, like, if we're going to go for it, let's go for it. But sometimes when you do that, you kind of cross the line to the audience, and then they feel like they're getting shit thrown at them. So I definitely get that. Let's go into the Friday the 13th news. I wanted to touch on that one first. I guess we'll start with this. And as you guys are talking, I'll pull it up. Davey's got his mask. I got my mask right over here with Kane Hodder's signature, of course.
Oh,
so
mine's
I don't know
not
if Nick has a
signed.
mask. I don't know, but yeah.
Not next to me right now. No.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, Jason Universe Jason. I'm pretty bummed out.
Can you hear me if I talk like? I think you could probably hear me, right? Or does it sound like muffled? Okay.
Little muffled. Kind of hot though.
Yeah, right. I like it. Randy, baby. So yeah, the controversy, and some people said, is it really controversy? I think it is. And I think you can kind of unpack this whole thing from a superficial level. They put out, was it Horror Inc. that put this out? I haven't fully read the story, but I think it was Horror Inc. that put this out. Going forward, this is going to be our future look of Jason. And I guess the elephant in the room, first thing I want to talk about is Vincent DeSante. I did my own little homework here because I did see, like, Vincent posted a few things on, and he's not like calling anybody out. I read through his post, really respectful. And people have opinions on the mask and whatnot, but I looked and I pulled up every version of Jason's costume throughout all the movies where it's Jason with the hockey mask to compare to this. And I got to say, Vincent's design is the closest to this new design that they're going for, which is alarming since, and I don't want to look like I'm throwing shade at anybody here, but it's alarming that Greg Nicotero is attached to this. But that's just a name. Maybe he just said, yeah, you can throw my name on there, but maybe he really has nothing to do with it. I don't know. I'm still processing it all because what are we doing? We don't have a movie announcement. I don't think we have like a game announcement or anything, but it's weird to announce. That'd be like saying, okay, Michael Myers going forward. Oh, by the way, we don't have a movie. We don't have a TV, anything going right now, but let's go ahead. This is what Michael Myers is going to look like going forward. You see what I'm saying? I don't like, Nick, what do you make of all this? It's kind of strange. I'll pull up the story in a minute, but I just wanted to get you guys like face value ideas first.
So last night I edited the video that I'm going to drop tomorrow on it. And it's pretty much just a rant from somebody that's not even a diehard Friday fan. It's my least favorite of the big three series. Like that's it. That's, I mean, I love Nightmare and Halloween though. So that's not saying much, but it is basically in the video. And what I said a little bit on the podcast with Christian yesterday, because we touched on it at the end of our episode, was like, I think this is a waste of everybody's time. I really feel like this is, I don't know if the cynical side of me wants to say it's a cash grab. It's an opportunity to try to drum up some hype about Jason and the franchise writ large so you can sell more merchandise. Because I just don't feel like anybody almost 2 decades now into this like abyss of Friday the 13th. I don't think anybody at this point should ever think that they know what they're doing or that they're even going to do anything, because in their defense, they don't really know what they can or cannot do. But to that point, then why the hell are you doing this elongated, drawn out announcement of logos and new designs and all this shit and empty platitudes of this is what we're going to use for future projects? What future projects? Can you tell me about some of them? Oh no, you can't, because you have no idea what you're doing. So I actually I posted the other day about it, and I just said this is a waste of everybody's time. I didn't get on X for like 3 days, and then when I got on, I was like, holy shit, this got some traction. I had like 50 replies, and there's people in there like, oh, shut the fuck up, like this is what they're going to use for future movies. That's what they said, and I didn't reply to any of these people, but I was just sitting here thinking like, if you believe them, like you actually are like, yeah, they're going to do this because they said they're going to. No, they've been doing this dance for 15 years. Like at some point, stop listening to what they're telling you, because it's just, I don't know. I just feel like it's a waste of everybody's time. It's not even getting into the minutia of like, oh, I don't like the design. I don't like the number of holes in the mask. I don't like the shape of the eyes. Like I saw people going down those rabbit holes, and I understand why. They're probably bigger Friday fans than me. But on the whole, I'm just like, why are we even doing this? Like I only call it X because I didn't want someone to fucking tell me to call it Twitter, guys. Okay. I still call it Twitter in my personal life. I still call it Twitter. Okay. But
I can't give up Twitter.
Yeah, I can't either. I just didn't want, I knew someone would have said it like, oh, it's X anyway. But yeah.
No, but Nick, you literally said, like, I think a couple of streams ago, like we were talking about some other update, but you said there could be no news on the Friday front, but for some reason we'll still get news every month. And your theory was right, because here we are getting this news about, okay, now Jason's going to look like this. It's like it's like promoting something, but you haven't done the work for it yet. You know, and I see this on YouTube too. Like some people, they'll say, hey guys, I got this, and this plan, and I got all these thumbnails made up, and I got this and this, and then crickets for the next 2-3 months is nothing, you know? That's kind of what this feels like with what they're doing with Jason. And I agree with Nick. Everybody's debating the mask and debating the look. I don't care about that right now, because I mean, every single look of Jason is different. And at the end of the day, all that matters is the movie good? If we have a kick-ass Jason movie come out, and by chance he has that outfit, by the way, slip a check to Vincent DeSante, I'm fine with it. I don't care. You know, it's not like I have to have the mask exactly a certain way. You know, maybe it's because I'm not like Halloween's my number one. Jason might be my number two. I don't know. I love the franchise, but I don't get all upset with the look of the mask, as long as they don't veer too far off, you know. I'm fine with it.
I don't know. I just think that I personally find it disrespectful to fans of the series. I really do, because I just don't think they actually have a roadmap. Because as soon as you announce a movie, you know what's going to happen? It's going to get tied up in litigation. As soon as they announce something, either party is going to sue the other one. And someone might go, well, how? Didn't they settle this? They settled it in the sense that Victor Miller can use things that are derivative from his IP, his original script. So then if they announce a movie, Sean Cunningham can go, I'm suing you because this is not derivative of your script. And then we're back in another legal. I mean, it's just, I don't think people understand that this is so much murkier than we even know, which is why you're not getting any news about it, real news about it, because I just don't think anything's going to happen in their life. And as long as they're alive, I don't think anything's going to happen. I really don't.
They're basically squirting lighter fluid from like 10 feet away at a fire that's dying. And they're just trying to get a little bit of a flame going. But I guarantee you got lawyers on both sides of it, and they're watching each other's every move. And you know, if you step out of line, okay, stop. Yeah, we can't do that.
Well, I mean, one of the lawyers is an executive producer on the Crystal Lake TV show. Victor Miller's actual lawyer is now an executive producer. So that's how gross that this shit is getting right now. And these people, you know, I'm generally pretty positive on my channel and everything, but all the bumps in the road and the false starts with the Crystal Lake TV show, I covered that pretty heavily on the channel compared to, I don't do much news there, but that stuff just really grinds my gears. Yeah. And I gotta say, the way the Horror Inc. people are going about things makes me it just makes me feel so much better about the way A24 is handling the Crystal Lake TV show, because these guys have lost the friggin' plot. They are off their collective rockers. You know, like Nick said, just I don't really care about like keychains and gizmos and gadgets and all that kind of crap. And guys, Greg Nicotero was involved in making one of the worst masks we've ever seen ever. The guy is amazing at special effects, but do not forget the alien mask from Halloween H2O. That's a K&B mask.
Oh,
That's
the
the
K&B
last
mask,
one that
yeah.
he touched. That is the most atrocious. I would take the CGI mask over the K&B mask. What the hell is going on with that mask? So to let him anywhere near this thing, and I
Yeah.
guarantee this is what happened. Hey, Greg, here's a laptop. We opened up Photoshop. Just in the generate thing, will you type what you want Jason to look like? And that's the Greg Nicotero stamp of approval, because this thing has AI written all over it.
Oh, it does.
They are, you know, like Vin had said, they've been super gracious letting him do his thing. They haven't stopped him from doing his Never Hike Alone movies, which is the one good thing that these rights holders have done. But Vin doesn't want to say it because, you know, he's got reason not to, but I'll say it. Like, this is straight up, it's the Womp Stomp, Never Hike Alone Jason with a bad mask.
I'll say it too, man. Davey, it's wrong to do it because somebody, I don't know if everybody knows, but somebody knows that Never Hike Alone movies are in our community. They're really successful. Everybody talks about them.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you somebody saw that and said, let's rip that off. And that's what they did. It's pretty much a blatant ripoff of Vincent's design.
And really,
it's shocking.
Just give him a spot at the table. You don't, just bringing in Vin doesn't mean he's going to call all the shots or anything. But I think it's high time that they bring him into the room, give him a seat at the table. He knows, not only does he know what the fans want because he's such a well-educated fan, he's also a great filmmaker, a storyteller, a producer. He's helped other people get their projects up and off the ground, like Cecil Laird with Dylan's New Nightmare, like was instrumental in making that happen, and other projects that aren't fan films, you know? So, and not only that, as he's making Never Hike Alone, he's listening to the fans, he's, you know, curating opinions and taking all of that in, because he ultimately, the goal was to make something that the fans would love, which he successfully did to the utmost degree. So I really, to me at this point, it seems almost like passive aggressive or sort of like sour grapes that they just don't want to let him have a voice in there.
I think it's sour grapes for sure.
Yeah, it's just let the guy in there, and if you can put the Womp Stomps involved, all the fans like that are not pumped on this stuff, you're gonna have most of them turn right around and do an about face for you.
Let me read through this for anybody in the chat. And by the way, we got 80 people viewing, guys. This is the most we've ever had on the Hit the Bricks.
Damn,
so awesome.
You guys are
awesome.
Thank
you, everyone. That's really, and thank you, Steve, for that super chat earlier. Let me read through this real quick. And there's some stuff that I might not know. Okay. Jason Universe reveals new Jason Voorhees designed by makeup effects legend Greg Nicotero. Following our exclusive Jason Universe logo reveal last week, Horror Inc. is continuing its Friday the 13th 45th anniversary celebration with a new take on Jason Voorhees revealed by Adweek. Makeup effects legend Greg Nicotero aided in the redesign. We strive to maintain Jason's original essence while continuing to move forward the future with a defined look and feel that takes Jason into his next chapter. We're also working with both familiar and fresh franchise voices to strike that balance, says Horror Inc. I'm just going to read the quotes here. It's incredibly exciting to bring Jason Voorhees back into the lives of fans in no movie announcement yet, though, such a bold and fresh way. We're thrilled to be working alongside Horror Inc. on the next chapter of the franchise and Jason's legacy, and we share their passion. Together, we're making sure this return delivers everything longtime fans have been craving. In the Launchpad, they talk about Linda Cardellini doing the TV show. So, you know what? Let's try to be positive about this. All right, let's try to be positive.
I'm trying. Oh my! It sounds like politics.
Yeah,
it sounds like a campaign speech.
So we can't be positive until Davey puts on a freaking beanie.
No, I don't have.
Yeah, no,
beanies.
we're 2 for 3 beanies.
Baseball hats. I have baseball hats. I can't wear beanies. I sweat too much. I'm sorry. I sweat too much.
Let's act like Horror Inc. has their shit together, and maybe they do, and maybe they got a big plan, and maybe this is the first pebble to that plan. Maybe they have a big plan of releasing either Jason, that's going to be his look in the new Crystal Lake series. Somehow they're going to introduce that Jason somewhere along the line, or B, there's going to be a Jason movie, maybe alongside the TV show or right after maybe the TV show will tie into the movie and that's going to be your look of Jason. In a perfect world, I'm hoping that that's the plan here, that they have an idea of what they're going to do. But I hate to be negative, but if Jason looking like that comes on screen, a lot of it there, there's a lot of people outside of our little thing that they don't even know about Vincent DeSante, but a lot of horror fans, and that movie did reach a lot of fans, millions of fans. I don't know. I'd feel kind of sour if I watch that version of Jason on the big screen in a big, freaking New Line Cinema, whatever it is. I'd be like, damn, that's Vincent's fucking design right there in a New Line movie, and with a couple tweaks. So legal, I don't know if I don't know the legal side of things as far as where Vincent is concerned, because he did a fan film. But
yeah, I don't think he has any ground.
Yeah, I don't think he has any ground too, but I think there's a respect factor here. And so I think, this franchise, there's a lot of drama and controversy, and I think this just adds more drama and controversy to it. So I think that's why everybody's kind of befuddled about the whole thing. I don't know. Well, Nick, what do you think, man? I'll stop talking.
Yeah, me too. I'll try.
Nick, save me.
I think they like the conversation. I really do. I think that they enjoy that people are talking about this. But at some point that's gonna wear off. Like, it really, really is. We're getting to a point now where it's just been so long that you see a lot of Friday fans that are just dejected, that are like, I just don't know if this is ever gonna happen. I'll believe it when I see it. I really don't care anymore. I do think that Vincent and Womp Stomp, as a whole, I think they've earned a seat at the table because they kept a lot of the love for this franchise alive in the doldrums of this legal battle. And I think if anything, they do. I think he and they have earned that, quite frankly. But that's expecting way more from whoever's behind Horror Inc., Paramount, whatever, New Line. They don't care. They really don't care. They care about money. If they could make a movie without the legal shenanigans, they would have made 15 by now, because they know they'll make a shitload of money. And that's why I am cynical about all of it, because I think that they know damn well that they can't. They're writing checks that they can't cash, and it's just disappointing, man. It really is. We get to a point where it's just like, I will say, there will be some news relatively soon on Nightmare. I'm pretty confident in saying that. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit after recording about it. But there will be some news with Nightmare sooner rather than later. But I'll tell you what, 5 years from now, I would be willing to bet we still will not have a Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised.
Davey, I'll give you the last word while I pull up the Final Destination. I don't have to, go ahead, Davey.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Like, I just think that, you guys have said, Vin knows where the compass is pointed at. He knows about this. They just need to bring him in there just to help out. I think that the Crystal Lake show could use it. I think the Jason Universe Horror Inc. people could use it, especially if they are so inspired by his design. Then you might as well bring him in. And I see Mr. Boone says here, I literally had to look up why people are mad. Bros are really crying about him not being a hulking mass right off the bat. I haven't seen any of that. I'm not sure about that. I don't care about Jason being a hulking mass.
Yeah, I agree.
And while Vin was relatively nice on Twitter, I was like all over the place when that came out, where I was just like, you're copying Ghost Jason, and it just looks worse. Like, so what's the point?
And if you take the time to do the research and look at every Jason design, you're gonna land on Vince's, and you're gonna be like, holy shit.
There's just something about it. It's got a look, and this one is definitely reminiscent of that. So I mean, I want good Friday the 13th stuff to come out of this, and I think one of the ways we can get something good is for us to voice our opinions. And I saw Alley Girl and Jason in there with the hashtag We Want Womp Stomp. That I think Vin is, just kind of kicked off last Friday. So, when Sonic the Hedgehog, when that trailer came out, everyone was like, what the hell is this? And they listened and they made adjustments, and they've made 3 of those movies, and they've been very successful. So it is possible for the fans, I'm mixing fan and Vin, for the fans to to have their voices be heard, and for something good to come out of it. So it's not just talking shit for shit talking sake like people do with stuff like Superman. These are people that actually care and know about this character, that want to see the best thing from it.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better. Moving on to the next one. And by the way, guys, this goes on Spotify. I usually get it up the next day. So be sure.
I usually get it up while we're shooting.
We're not going to call that out. Holy shit. Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about, but
I'm high noon right now. I don't know about you guys.
Final Destination Bloodlines slaughters a franchise record with 102 million opening. This movie, the highest grossing before that, I believe, was in the 20s for The Final Destination, which was the worst movie of the bunch. Most people agree. But man, this was a great redemption story for Final Destination, and it's just proof that people love this franchise, and they want more of it. So. Also, the icing on the cake, I hate to call it that, even though we lost Tony Todd. But what I mean by that is that, we got probably the best version, I think, of Bloodworth. Just the character actually adding some heart and emotion to him. And then Tony Todd gets to really say his goodbyes to everybody because he knows he's passing. And I was thinking about that. Like, has that ever happened where an actor's in a movie and he gets the opportunity to say goodbye and it be, printed in cellular?
Unintentionally, but Donald Pleasance in Halloween 6, that final line that he gives is very, very much, although I think he knew his time was running out. He didn't know it wasn't like he had a prognosis where it's like, you got a month left, but he knew his time was running out. And Christian and I actually talked about that when he says, I have a few more things to attend to here. The camera holds on him as they drive away.
Dude, gets me every time.
I felt like that was a goodbye too, in a way.
Dude, when I watched that in the theater, and I know I'm aging myself, but and it wasn't even a packed theater. It was, because it was Halloween 6 and the franchise was kind of starting to go downhill. Maybe too much time had passed. 5 didn't really leave a good impression. But if it was just me in that theater, man, when I saw Donald in that last line and he says, I have a few things to say, man, I welled up a little bit because even back then I was a Halloween fanatic. I jumped on board for Halloween 4 and I was hooked. That was my boy. That was it. And then, I was in there with Pleasance and I loved Loomis more than anything. And, just like the documentary says, the franchise has not been the same without him. Yeah, we've had some great movies since, but there's just something about, Loomis, Donald Pleasance in a Halloween movie that it just adds. I think he was just as important as Myers, when you get right down to it. So
yeah,
brutal.
And recently we had, I know it was a couple years removed from when he passed, but I think Val Kilmer reprising Iceman in Top Gun Maverick was a send off of, like, they knew that I don't think he acted after that, and we knew he was not well at the time. So I thought, that was another one that I think was an emotional moment. But yeah, here in Final Destination Bloodlines, they do it. I don't think you could do it any better. Because not only does the story like tie everything together with all of the previous movies, but to actually give us like a good answer as to how Tony Todd's character, how Bloodworth ties into everything, was done really well. You could tell the people that make this movie care about it. And then to give him that moment where he does have, like, it's not just a cute cameo of, oh, there's the Candyman guy. Like, it's it's like a nice scene that breathes, and he's got that excellent send off, which apparently was something that he, improvised or was given, he was given the opportunity to just kind of come up with his own lines there to say goodbye to everyone.
That was really cool. Yeah, because I read that, like, I guess the director said, hey, if there's anything you want to say, go ahead and say it, and he said, hey, I can't remember the exact line that he said, but basically cherish every day that you have,
you don't know when it's going to be the end of it. Yeah, it's passing around all over on social media. I've been seeing people post the quote. So yeah,
I think this movie's going to have legs too.
Life is precious. Enjoy every second, because you never know when. Or enjoy every second. Or I am life is precious. I tend to enjoy what little I have left. Enjoy every second because you never know when.
I'll be seeing you or something like that at the very end of it. But
good luck and
good luck.
Yep.
Good luck. Yeah, that was it. Good luck. And that it's sad too because even his it affected his voice, and he didn't have that legendary Tony Todd voice, but he still had some gravitas to it. He was still able to pull. It's like they said, like Freddie Mercury when he was when he was dying of AIDS, and his last performance. Visually, when you look at him, you're like, how can anybody pull anything out of him? Because his body looks just like a frail being. Doesn't look like Freddie Mercury, but his voice, that was the last thing that they say is his voice was still there. It was still amazing. Same thing with Elvis. They said the voice was, that was their gift. They couldn't lose the voice. So jumping into this movie, if you haven't seen the movie, guys, we'll talk a little bit of spoilers. We're going to do a quick little spoiler roundup, I guess, about this. We're not going to go through like every plot beat and whatnot, but I guess my first question for you guys is overall, I guess, ranking, where would you rank this amongst the rest of the franchise? Nick, I'll start with you. And what did you like and dislike about it?
So I put Bloodlines at fourth, but I battled between putting it third. After another watch or two, it might go into the top three for me. Having said that, I know there's not a single Final Destination movie I don't like aside from The Final Destination. That movie is dog shit, and I'm sorry if anybody likes it. Literally, the producer, Craig Perry, gave an interview yesterday and said that movie sucks. Like, even he was like, it's bad. So I really liked this one.
You didn't like the meat going through the chain link fence?
Man, that movie, buddy. But yeah, I had issues with the opening simply just because I feel like the more effective openings in this series are the ones that are more believable, the ones that you could find yourself in. I don't know how many people are going to find themselves in basically the fucking Space Needle in Seattle. But having said that, aside from a little bit too much CGI for me, and not really caring all that much about the lead, I much preferred people like Bobby and Eric, and I did not
Bobby
care
and Eric
for
were great.
Stephanie. Yeah, Stephanie was just like, whatever. Like, Christian made a joke about how, like, and I thought the same thing when she pulled up to the grandma's house. It was like Halloween 2018. Like, I was just waiting.
Yeah.
I was waiting for her to call her grandmother, and I was going
to
be
be
out.
They borrowed the storyboards or something.
Yeah.
We're investigative journalists.
Yeah. But I don't know. Overall, I gave it 3.5 out of 5. Davey and I are pretty much in lockstep with this movie. We talked about it a little bit in the chat, as I'm sure you saw. And I know you were a little more positive than Davey and I were, but overall, I really enjoyed it. You don't need that much CGI. When they went practical in this movie, it was good. Like the sequence where the ring is on, her finger is like peeling off as she's hanging. That was practical. That was really good. Like, why couldn't we do more practical shit? But it's good. It was definitely, it might be better than 5. I don't know. I
tend to give Final Destination a little bit of leeway in terms of practical versus CG, only because of I guess how big and epic and involved the kills are. They're not just a guy walking up with a knife stabbing you or coming up with a creative kill. No, they're like a chain reaction type thing. So because of how elaborate they're getting, I tend to, as long as it's not like the Final Destination where it really sticks out, like that's Sharknado level bad. Okay.
Yeah.
As long as it still looks somewhat real, then and also there's a nice surprise, I guess. There's a punchline with the kills. Then I'm fine with it. And I highlighted Destiny's comment there, Eric, because my God, I loved that character so much. And that's not something
he's the fucking vampire kid from Trick or Treat. Wrong way. That's that fucking dude. I was like, what?
That's not something you get too often in a Final Destination movie, a character that just leaps off the screen that's so fun. And the funny thing is, he wasn't even on the list, but he got it the worst.
Yeah, that was my favorite kill. That twofer in the hospital was my favorite for sure.
It's one of the best in the series, and my theater literally laughed out loud, myself included, when he said, "Is that why he always wanted to play catch?" Like I laughed so
Yeah.
hard, and the theater did too. I was like, that's really good. But like, they did a lot really well. And you're not, I get what you mean. And you're totally right. Where when you're upping the ante, when the scale is bigger,
Yeah.
you're going to have to use a lot more CGI. And I understand that to a degree. But I will say, Final Destination 2 was almost all practical. And
Yeah.
they shut down a highway for that. And
That's true.
They
That's
blew
true.
up cars and rolled cars. So it's like, this one's a little different. I get that. It's a fucking like sky view or whatever they called it. Like, it's different. But I don't know. It just takes some of the, it's not as visceral to me when the deaths don't look as real. Like but this is Final Destination. They've always kind of lived in that. Like, it's fun. That's the franchise. So maybe I'm just being a Debbie Downer about it. But because I still liked it. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, that opening sequence too. I mean, I could not help but think of Titanic with that opening because it felt like its own little movie.
Because
like
it was 3 hours long.
Yeah, that whole
It was
sequence could have been an entire movie because once it does take a while to get to the the good stuff, but once the disaster starts happening, the scale of it was like, especially seeing it in IMAX on the big screen. Actually, I saw it in Dolby. Man, the sound was amazing, but man, watching that whole thing unfold, and I was like, damn, this feels like Titanic, like how big Titanic was. Those big epic disaster movies. That's what it felt like. It felt like one of the biggest opening sequences for a Final Destination movie. And was there some CGI? Yeah, but man, watching those bodies fall and just bounce off and your blood everywhere, and getting pretty crazy with the kills, and like you said, the finger freaking rip off, and I was like, damn, they're getting pretty ambitious. And to highlight Akeem here, he's saying, as someone who works in the industry, I can understand why they use CGI for this movie, but you have to remember this movie was originally supposed to come straight to HBO Max and not to theaters. And hey, I bet they're thanking their lucky stars that they went to theaters because this movie made bank.
Evil Dead Rise all over again. This studio. What the fuck is it with New Line? Are they dumb? Like, well, yes, they're dumb, but like, I think we've known that for years. But like, that's two movies that they almost pissed away like $200 million each time. Like, we should put this on streaming. Like, what? I wish I could be that bad at business.
10 free memberships. Thank you so much. That was really nice.
Oh, yeah.
Damn,
Davey, what was your actually? Because you said your favorite kill is the MRI kill.
Yeah, love that. I mean, it's the twofer really, because you get the next one after. It's absolutely incredible with that magnet like getting kicked up. Yeah, I mean everything with Eric, like all the piercings and everything. There's some nice, funny moments there that you're not really expecting. Yeah, no, yeah, and there's another. He gets a laugh where he doesn't even have to say anything. He's got a coffee cup that got a laugh in the theater at the screening I was at, which is. I mean, anytime you can get a laugh and you don't even have to say anything, that's great. But I do think there was a good, I think there were the trash compactor kill. I think that's the first time we've ever really seen it, like actually seen it, because you don't really see what's going on in, Child's Play 3. And that looked like a practical until they had to switch on the CGI. But that looked like they really almost like the way the forehead split, like a nut cracking, like a like a pistachio nut.
Well, my audience, dude, it was one of those kind of like a slowly building roar, because everybody's watching it and what's going to happen, and you see Steph like reaching for her, and the crowd just starts getting louder and louder and louder, and as it's crushing her slowly, everybody starts the roar turned into laughter. And I'd never experienced an audience reaction like that to a kill in the theater. Usually it's a quick type thing, but I think the MRI kill and that kill are two very different things. But to me, they're almost equally effective in just the audience reaction that you got, because the MRI, it was more of a pacing type thing. We're going to react to this, and then we're going to react to this. Whereas that one, it was just a slow build all the way up. And that's what I loved about this movie so much. It really offered a lot in the way of kills. Jumping over to JG Michael here, he says, how did you guys feel about the entire Steph meeting Iris scene? I thought that was well paced and had build up. Seeing is believing. Loved that. When they go outside, Steph doesn't believe it, and then Iris says, oh yeah, and she gives her life, and she's like, here you go. See, she gets a freaking what was that? She gets impaled from the back of the head.
It's like a weather vane, right? No, I don't know. I wasn't. I honestly felt like that was out of a different movie. The kill was cool. I liked
Yeah.
her death, but like the moment I just felt like was like, I don't know, these two don't know each other. Like, of course, she comes across as like kooky. She dies like damn near immediately after. It was just kind of like, I don't know, very Halloween 2018 vibes. I just honestly, seriously, like it's all I was thinking about. I was just like, this is, I don't know. And again, maybe I'm just I'm not a big fan of the character of Stephanie. Like
if that would have happened to Laurie Strode at the beginning of H2 2018, that would have completely changed the trajectory of the movie. It would have been a great movie. Holy shit, they killed Laurie Strode in the first act.
Yeah. When Iris asks Steph if you don't believe in the boogeyman, I was like, what movie am I watching?
Like,
wait,
right?
no,
But you're not far off. You're not far off. That's what it was.
I do love the blood splatter on Steph was great. That looked like a practical splatter. So so that's a nice little shot there. They some good surprises there. But I'm right there with you, Nick. I warmed up to Steph as the movie went on. I didn't feel like the performance was that great, and as the movie went on, I warmed up to the performance. But at the beginning of the movie, there are some moments where I was like, "Oh shit, this chick can't act." When she's talking to her dad at the beginning or what, I was like, "Oh no, this is going to be rough." But the performance got better, and the ancillary characters are, pretty damn charming, and they actually have defined characteristics, which I think is something that this franchise really struggles with in the lesser entries. I'm talking to you, the Final Destination, and even Final Destination 3, which I think a lot of people give a lot of love to, but to me, it's almost like a series of skits that are connected. The characters just aren't very well defined to me. So like, the second movie, the fifth movie, and this one, they had better defined characters for me. So I quite enjoyed this one. Honestly, though, this franchise for me is like C+ at best. I don't think it's a great franchise.
Oh, damn.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. To me, it's almost like, well, whatever. I mean, what does this franchise really have? It's almost like a Nightmare on Elm Street, where it's like all about the creative kills. And that's like pretty much where you're going to bank on. And you are going to have some characters you really love, but there's just not, I don't know, like this movie more than any other movies in the franchise had like actual lore. So I thought that was the great thing this one had going for it. But I think, within this franchise, Bloodlines is one of the better entries for sure.
But Davey, my Eric t-shirt's coming in next week. Shit.
I was like, is that Bam Margera's kid? Is that Kyle Gallner's
does look like Bam
nephew?
Like Gallner of the movie. Because remember, you brought up how Kyle Gallner stole the spotlight in the Nightmare remake. He stole the spotlight from Steph. So
I was just gonna say, can we talk about how pointless the dad was? Why the fuck was he?
Oh my god, dude!
He was so
most worthless character ever.
Yeah,
he was the wettest blanket.
Just stop entertaining this. Just stop. I'm gonna put my hand on my forehead and walk away, all sad now. And I'm like, go away. Why are you even here?
Go drink.
Will you die? Will you die already?
Iced tea.
I wish you were blood related. This is bullshit. I don't want to see you live through this movie.
Yeah. Oh my god. Tony Chappie, he says, why do you guys think that David Gordon Green was? Oh, by the way, I have a commenter. I think it's Gold Standard. He always puts a David Gordon Green dig, no matter what I'm talking about, no matter what review I do. Every single review, all the way back to the first Halloween 2018, he puts a David Gordon Green dig in every comment. David Gordon Green is living rent free in his head. He says, why do you think that David Gordon Green was great with his Halloween trilogy, but failed with his Exorcist movie to where to now Mike Flanagan is now taking over? That's an easy answer for me. I think Halloween is a very different franchise than The Exorcist in tone, and I think it's directing style. One thing that was annoying me about The Exorcist movie was David Gordon Green's frantic direction in that movie. It threw me off, and I could, it just, I don't know. I didn't really like it. And plus I had other problems with the movie too, and how it dealt with religion. And it was like a Avengers of Religion team up at the end of, the last act. So yeah.
I'm of the unpopular opinion that I didn't hate Believer. I actually didn't. And guess what? Christian didn't either. We were both technically.
Yeah, I remember.
We both gave it 3 stars. and we were like, "Are we both technically believers?" Like,
dude, it had potential. It had potential.
I think that it was more so that what, to your point, The Exorcist is just different. It's also going to be judged differently. When you come back to The Exorcist, people are expecting some good shit, and like, you can come back to Halloween and just make a fun movie, and people will be like, "Oh, you know what? That was fun. Like, I had a good time. Whatever." The Exorcist, if you don't have something to say, it's just, I don't know. It's different. Now, I do feel like I showed that movie to my mom because The Exorcist is like her favorite movie of all time, and I was like, "She's gonna hate it. And after it was over, she's like, I liked that." I was like, "What the fuck?" But yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it. I actually thought that there was moments.
It started off strong. It really did.
I actually, there was a moment in that movie that actually there was two moments in that movie that actually were really effective to me. It was Reagan and Chris reuniting at the very end. I was like, I don't care who you are. Yeah, you're cribbing on nostalgia. I don't care. I love it. But the moment where the family chooses their daughter, and the demon was tricking them, and then you hear like this demonic voice says, "I choose you," and takes the other girl down to fucking hell. I was like, holy shit. Like, that's actually pretty mean-spirited. I dig that. So I didn't hate it. But Mike Flanagan, he's the best horror director working today, in my opinion. He should have been the director for The Exorcist.
His directing style fits Exorcist better, I think, because the first Exorcist, it has a slow burn type feel to it, and it gradually builds. And it has some shock value in there. And I think the shock value offsets the slow burn feel of the movie so that when that stuff does happen, it's even more shocking. Whereas in David Gordon Green's approach, the shock value didn't have as much shock value because the directing had kind of a chaotic type feel to it. So Nick's making me want to try it again. I might give it another watch. We'll see.
She liked Halloween Ends. She liked Halloween Ends. I showed her all three of the trilogy, Lee, and you know what she said, gentlemen? She said that was my favorite one of the three new ones. And I said,
"Oh yeah, I've heard that a bunch of times." My wife said that's her favorite of the trilogy is Ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I still haven't seen Believer because everyone was so about it and mean-spirited about it. And also, I don't know what it is. I like crazy demonic possession movies like Evil Dead and demons and stuff like that. The religious possession movies don't really strike me as much for some reason. I really don't know why. But I think one of the reasons why it was maybe not as well received and why they're switching gears is, I mean, if you look at the batting average of the Exorcist series, there's like 2 movies in that franchise that people speak very highly of, and that's pretty much it.
That's it.
So it's not really, it doesn't have a good batting average. It's not getting in the Hall of Fame as far as like based on that. So
you don't like The Heretic?
I think it's a little tough.
What are you talking about, David? That's a great movie.
Yeah, it's just as good as Rob Zombie's Halloween too. It is a tougher franchise, I think, to work within, and sometimes it is just not the right fit. I mean, it's amazing that he went from friggin' Pineapple Express to Halloween and all that, and I love his Halloween movies. But yeah, I should give Believer a shot. But I mean, yeah, you can't go wrong with Flanagan. The guy is just, he knows what's up. So
if you guys have not watched Midnight Mass, I need you to watch Midnight Mass.
It's amazing.
One of the most powerful things I've ever watched in my entire fucking life. Davey, have you seen Midnight Mass?
I have not, but my brother is like, "Oh my God, that's one of the best things I've ever seen. You have to see that."
The exploration of death, of religion. I mean, it will fuck you up. Like it,
nice.
Dude, I had a panic attack. Lee, I'm not going to get into details, but there is a scene in an episode where 2 characters are having a very deep talk on a couch. And it literally sent me into an existential crisis. Like they're talking about what they think happens when they die.
Amazing.
And oh my dude, I had to pause it and like get up and like I was like, dude, I can't. Like my heart is.
It's some of the best horror TV I've seen in years. Davey, if you got the time, oh my God, Midnight Mass.
It's a Netflix miniseries, right?
The guy who played the priest is amazing in it too.
Yeah, and my brother is like he loves all that like religious horror stuff. Like we just watched Immaculate the other night. I had never seen that. So
Ooh, I love Immaculate. Yeah.
So yeah, now I have to catch up on The First Omen. Don't
Talk
get mad
about
at
a
me,
shocking
Nick.
ending.
The First Omen was my favorite movie.
Oh
of
yeah,
last
dude,
year.
First Omen. Oh god, I hate to keep using the word amazing, but oh my god, First Omen. Well, I mean, because it's a movie that should not have been good.
It's better than The Omen. I'm gonna
Yeah.
fucking say it. It's better than The Omen.
Yeah, it is. I agree. And I love the First Omen. I don't like the rest of the movies that much. I stopped watching after 2. And then here comes the First Omen, and man, that's when you know you made a great trailer. Is when you can make somebody that's not really excited about said franchise like, holy shit, that trailer looks like a freaking like an A24 type movie. You know, when A24 really, because A24 doesn't like kill it every single time, but that looked like one of those kind of like Bring Her Back. You know, that's the type of A24 horror I love, where it just goes dark and heavy, and that's what the First Omen kind of did for me.
Wait, Davey, are you saying right now in the chat that you're going to watch Believer tonight?
Yeah, I mean, Ashton said it's on Peacock, so I'm going to watch a little bit of Twin Peaks with my brother, and then I'll settle on in with Exorcist Believer and see what I think.
You need to come in the chat and let us know after you see it.
Yeah,
you got to let us know.
I want to do one more story. Okay, one more story because I got to talk about this. This is pretty wild. So let me share this tab. There we go. And we covered this movie not too long ago, but now this is interesting. Allison Brie and Dave Franco, who are going to star in this movie together, which is high on my radar. I want to see this movie like you read about. It looks amazing. The trailer looks sick and demented and twisted and crazy. So then just a week after we get the trailer 2, we get this news that they are being sued because basically copyright, or they stole the idea from somebody else. Let me read through this real quick, and I'm going to get you guys' opinions on this. I don't even know if you guys know about this. I think you probably do, though. Allison Brie and Dave Franco hit with a copyright lawsuit over the movie together, stole virtually every unique aspect. Insanity. Allison Brie and her husband Dave Franco show up together in a lot of things, including a recently filed copyright infringement lawsuit over.
That is nice awesome, including court.
The movie, the first feature from director Michael Shanks, stars Brie and Franco as Millie and Tim, a fictional married couple who are drifting apart, but as the story progresses, they become closer than ever in a literal physical sense. The film in theaters July 30th sold for a reported $17 million after a bidding war. So there's a suit filed on Tuesday. Reporters Jess Jacqueline and Charles Beale allege together is a blatant ripoff of their 2023 independent film Better Half, which I looked up a trailer for Better Half. I didn't see one on YouTube anywhere. Shut up, Levi. Stealing several plot and thematic elements, including the central concept of a couple who wake up to find their bodies physically fused together. Jesus, this what's up, Levi? Yeah, that's pretty much all I need to read about the story. I don't know, like what do you guys make of that? Will this hurt the film from even coming out?
No, if anything, this just gave it press. If anything, you just gave it more press. So congratulations.
Yeah. Why don't you talk? I'm gonna go put Levi in the other room.
Yeah, here's the thing, and I'm curious to see what you think about this, Davey. I think that it sounds very convenient that like, oh, we had this independent film that nobody knows about, that probably didn't make a dent anywhere, and now this one sold for $17 million is probably going to be a pretty big hit. I mean, this is one of those movies that I could see being like The Substance or Companion or something like that kind of sneaks up on people and they're like, wow, this is really good. And it makes, you know, a hefty profit. And I think that whoever these people are, maybe they see that and they're like, you know, maybe there are aspects that they took from it, but at the same time, it's just like, I mean, who's really to say? How many times do you see lawsuits like this happen? I mean, we were just talking about Friday the 13th. That's different, but I feel like anybody would jump at the opportunity to be like, hey, you took this idea from me, and anybody can get a fucking court date, get an attorney and go to court. It'll probably ultimately get thrown out. That's what I think. But I think if anything, it gave it more press. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking here the only way they really have a leg to stand on is if they can prove that the producers or people involved with Together like knew about this. If they have like correspondence with them, if these people tried to pitch their movie or sell their movie to somebody that's involved with Together, that would be the only way that I could see them saying, look, they had full knowledge of it. This isn't just an accident that they made a movie that has similar themes, because that just happens in art sometimes anyways. But also, I think that they're just like, can you just give us a little settlement and we'll shut up and you can put your movie out? So that it kind of seems like that a little bit as well. Yeah, because I looked up the Better Half movie and I couldn't really see anything about it either. So it's odd. I mean, at some point, somebody went up to those people that made that movie and said, hey, you might have a case here. That's what I would imagine, or else they wouldn't have said anything at all. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, this movie looks really interesting. I love that Alley Girl says every time I see that preview and he says, I love you, and she says K. Yeah, we've all been there, right, Allie? I think that's a moment in the trailer where I was like, ooh, you know.
You got to do the Harrison Ford, bro. I know. Like that.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that this is just, you know, looking for some hush money, essentially.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I don't think it's going to stop it from coming out.
No,
unless they have
I don't.
A real. I don't know.
I don't think it would, because, yeah, I mean, because that would hurt the people who have this case that want to make a little bit of money from this. Of course, they would want the movie to come out so they could lay claim to some percentage of the intellectual property. So that's probably the angle they're going for, is, hey, we just want like this percentage of what the movie makes and we'll drop this thing, you know?
Yeah.
Well, also you could look at it like Armageddon and you know, what's the movie?
Deep Impact.
Yeah, Deep Impact.
Yeah.
You didn't see Deep Impact suing Armageddon and vice versa, and they have very similar plots. I mean, hell, these days most plots, you know, there's so many like you know, movies that have like an alternate movie that has kind of a similar plot. So to take it as far as suing them, like, yeah, the basic idea here is two people blending, you know, joining together.
Yeah,
you could go back to freaking The Thing. There's been other movies where people have kind of like conjoined. So I think maybe it's just that idea, but
yeah, it just happens. There was The Cave and The Descent. There's like, I mean, The First Omen and Immaculate. I mean, you know, like there's all sorts of like, and you know, and let's talk about the substance for a second. There was a movie called The Wasp Woman that came out in the late 50s. Roger Corman produced it. He might have directed it. And it's about a woman. Yes, granted, she works in the cosmetics industry, but she's being aged out. And so she starts using this experimental jelly that she's getting from these wasps that make her look 25 years younger. And then but then it has these terrible, you know, side effects and everything. So it's like, you could look at that and be like, well, that's just like they tweaked a couple things with the substance. That's just storytelling. Star Wars is the hero's journey, blah, 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 blah. Like, so yeah, they are hoping that whoever purchased this movie for $17 million after the Cannes Film Festival just wants to make a little money, you know?
Well, Mr. A in the chat says the difference here is that Dave and Allison were offered this film by the director.
I was just going to say that. I didn't know if you guys brought it up, but that is a factor in there. They were actually pitched the idea according to the plaintiff, and they turned it down.
I had mentioned that if they can prove that, there is some connection with the people involved in making Together, then they've got legs to stand on. They have to be able to prove it in court. And if they have the receipts, if they've got the emails or recorded phone calls or whatever, recorded meeting or something, then
but even then
could be in trouble.
Yeah, to everybody in the chat, like, all that would happen there is they're going to have to cut a deal with this director. Essentially, the movie will still come out. But this director might get damn near most of the profits. But I mean, the movie's still going to come out one way or another. But that's interesting.
I've seen this before, though, like legal things happening, and it could be a situation like when you get lawyers involved. What's that lawyer going to do? He's going to take both scripts. Okay, as a defense, let's go through every page of both scripts. And let's break down the differences. And if they come up with enough differences, then they don't really have a leg to stand on. They might get, they might throw them a bone or something like that. But unless those scripts are like almost like 80% identical or something like that, or maybe even a little less, I don't think it's going to be a big factor, honestly.
There was a big one. JG Michael brings up a good one with Harlan Ellison with the Terminator. For his I think it was I'm not sure if it was Outer Limits or Twilight Zone or something like that. But there's also, do you guys remember that Michael Bay movie, The Island, with Ewan McGregor?
Yep.
That came out. So that movie, this is I get goosebumps because that movie was a ripoff of a movie that was made fun of on Mystery Science Theater 3000 called Parts the Clonus Horror. Fans of Mystery Science Theater 3000 brought it to the attention of the guy that made Parts the Clonus Horror, and he won. He settled out of court with Michael Bay's production company with or whoever it was that produced it, because they had like exact shots and imagery from Parts of the Clonus Horror that they put in The Island. And it was, the whole idea of the plot was the same thing, where it's like these people grow up in this utopia. They think the world doesn't exist outside of them. And then they find out, that they're just clones being harvested for organs. So yeah, this kind of stuff happens. If that's true that they had those meetings with, Alison Brie and Dave Franco, then yeah, they could stand to make a pretty penny, and maybe they could make a movie this time that actually comes out that you can find with a Google search.
Yeah, Chris brings up a good point. And happy birthday, Chris! By the way, Chris had a birthday too recently. I think it was a couple days ago. Yeah, happy birthday, Chris!
Chris, happy belated birthday, man!
Yep.
There you go. Happy
birthday. What are the chances this doesn't get a theatrical run and hits just straight to VOD instead of the result of the case? And that is, I think that has happened in the past where movies were supposed to come to theaters, but because of some kind of legal issue, they either didn't come out or they were just finally released to VOD, at the last minute. I mean, sort of like that is the Jonathan Majors type deal, where he had so much in the way of court drama and getting in trouble with the lawsuit and everything. And so his movie was kind of shelved for a while, and then it quietly comes out, I think a couple of months ago. And it, if he didn't have the issues that he had over the last year, that movie might have fared a lot better. It might have even gotten like Oscar nods and whatnot, but because of his what happened, that movie just kind of came and went. And they said his performance in the movie was amazing.
I think for me, if I were their lawyer or if I were the party suing, I think that you would be dumb to not let this go to theaters, because I think what you want is the biggest slice of the pie that you can get. So if this is a battle over IP, well, sure, if you settle with Allison and Dave and get $5 million or whatever, cool, that's great. Or you can let this go to theaters where it might make $100 million and you could get 50 million bucks. I mean, you never know. So I don't know. I feel like any lawyer worth their salt in an IP situation where the movie's already made and being marketed, I think what you're fighting for is, hey, we want X amount when this thing comes out. That's
we want this many points of what it makes in the box office.
Yeah.
Have you guys watched the new Dairy trailer yet?
Oh, yeah.
I did. Yeah.
I have not seen it yet. So would you like to get my reaction?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's give it a watch.
All right, let's pull it up. Hold on.
Let's step on back to 1962.
Man, by the way, David, I was going to sit down and start working on I got a couple ideas for an intro video for us, but I might work on it this weekend. Okay. So I'll let you know. I'll let you know when I need that voice.
I fully intended to put something together for you, and it just didn't happen, but I do have some ideas. And guys, really quick too, before we get to the trailer, there is Hit the Bricks merch on my Fourth Wall merch page. So I'm not sure if that link is in the description now, but I'm sure Lee can add it. Some really cool hats. The Fourth Wall people, it's not just like paint printed on a hat. It's like a nice embroidery on the hats. We got mugs, pint glasses, all that kind of fun stuff. So if you want to have a beer or something, or while you're watching the show, you can order a pint glass. I might get myself a hat, probably not a beanie, but probably a baseball hat.
God damn it.
Now the clips that go up on the second channel, I set up the upload defaults. So every clip is going to have links to the podcast, links to the merch. And I'm going to start transferring that to this actual live stream. But definitely check out the clips on the second channel because I have all those links on there, and it gives you a little bite-sized taste of the stuff that we talk about. If you don't get time to sit down and listen to the whole podcast, everybody likes the clips. You know, even like 2-minute clips are like huge these days. I see. So, go over to the second channel. Tons of clips over there. Right, I probably got like 50 clips of us over there right now. So, yeah, it's doing really well. But
you're gonna have to put together a short of you saying that you're getting it up or whatever that was. That just happened earlier.
No, that's gonna be the title of this episode, Getting It Up.
Yeah, this short brought to you by Hymns.
The
Blue Chew.
Welcome to Dairy Trailer. Here we go. Hold on. Heads to 1962 and brings Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise. Are they gonna make me do math? 1962 plus 27.
1989 was when chapter 1 took
89.
place.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Okay. Yeah. The way I do that is I add 10, and then I add another 10. And so that gives me 82. And now I need to get 7 more out of that. So then I add 2 plus the 5 to get what is it? 2 plus 7?
Math and then more math.
Yeah. Okay. The upcoming I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it was my weakest subject in school. I fucking hated math.
Yeah. Funny enough, math was my strongest. Social studies and biology were my weakest.
History and English, buddy. I was a killer, a stone cold killer.
I was good at English.
Yeah, English for me for sure.
Yeah, it's funny how like math, man. I swear to God, it like clicked for me for math. I never really had to study that much, and I always did really well in math. But it's still stuff that, once you don't do it, then you forget. Like right now, could I do algebra? Probably not.
No, well, the biggest scam in the world was geometry. Unless you're going to be a fucking engineer, why are we doing this? Like, I don't need to know what a square times a rectangle is. I know I'm oversimplifying it, but seriously,
it's true. So this one, I'm not going to read through all this. It takes place in 1962, so it's a prequel. Is that the very first year that this all happened? I don't know. Let's watch the trailer. Okay. So I'm going to watch. Can you guys see the trailer on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here we go.
You poor thing. Get in before you catch your death of cold.
Now you just tell us where home is. We'll get you back to your parents safe and sound, okay?
Anywhere but dairy.
Things that happened in the past.
My family and I just moved to town.
Oh.
Hey, baby.
Happened in your mind.
Today was 4 months. And they never even found a body. That means murder.
This business with the missing kids. Do I need to be concerned? Never a bad idea to keep the people you love close.
No adult's ever gonna believe what we saw. I wouldn't.
There's a history of stuff like this happening in dairy.
You kids keep your noses out of police business.
I heard voices. In the pipes.
Have you ever heard of something like that? Just something bad. Here. Dairy.
Oh, yes. I'm in. Oh, hell yeah. I am in. HBO Max. Why do they call them HBO Max now? I don't know. But yeah, that looks awesome. I'm totally in. What do you guys think?
Yeah, dude, I'm down. I mean, it's not even a question for me. I think that this is one of those roles. Pennywise made Bill Skarsgård. And I'm so happy to see this guy's career explode. It seems like he's in every other thing these days. I think he was born for that role, like Tim Curry was. I just think that he's so good in it. You can have the issues with certain CGI in the movies, and I totally get that. But Bill literally and he's talked about it many times in interviews. He goes to a place that is really hard to pull himself out of. He says, like, to become Pennywise.
Yeah.
What he does with his laugh and his eyes and his mouth. And I mean, I just feel like he was born for that. I think he's so good. And when they were filming this for months and Bill was not signed on because of a contract dispute. And I remember thinking, if you can't get him, literally, let's not do this. Like, why are we doing this? So luckily that was worked out. But yeah, dude, I'm so excited. And someone said in the chat earlier, this is planned to be 3 seasons. So this is supposed to be season 1 is 62. Season 2 would be 1935 and season 3 will be 1908.
Oh, wow.
If I can get 3 full seasons of Bill Skarsgård back as Pennywise, dude, count me the fuck in.
Yeah. I mean, you can have really good horror TV shows. We've seen, cases of it time and time again. Bates Motel, fantastic freaking show. So the complaint that some people would have is like, oh, they're going to stretch it out to where it's boring. Not necessarily. You can, and plus you can have like 30, 40-minute episodes. You can get a lot of meat in 30, 40-minute episodes. So
yeah,
who knows? But yeah, I'm definitely in.
Yeah, it looks like each season's probably going to be the length of like kind of like a trilogy of films. The production value here looks really impressive.
It
looks like
that
a film.
too, Davey. Wow, it looks amazing.
It looks like a film. I think the child actors they very convincing. I like everyone's got like a unique look. They got that 60s look down. Yeah, TV shows are kind of tough for me because they just seem to sort of drag me along. But I think something like this, where it sounds like they already have like a direction. I prefer like the British way of doing TV shows where you know what story you want to tell. And so it's not just like no end in sight the way most American television is done. So I like these kind of like mini series sort of approach here. And I don't know if anyone else picked up on this, but like, does Pennywise kind of sound like he's doing a Scooby-Doo laugh there at the end? He's like, I picked up on I'm like, I hope that's not the vibe we get. Yeah, I want the scary vibe, but if he's eating giant sandwiches, I'm cool with that too. But yeah, this does look really damn good. So yeah, I think it's encouraging.
I don't think that Warner Brothers, I'm glad it looks the way it does, because Warner Brothers should have backed the Brinks truck up. Those 2 movies collectively made over $1 billion, like horror movies. Like, what are we even talking about? Like, yeah, I couldn't believe this. It's the most successful Stephen King adaptation ever. Those 2 movies. It's just like, I think for me personally, as someone that read the book, I was like, I cannot believe this is it. Like I loved chapter 2. I know a lot of people are split on that one. I actually prefer it to chapter 1, believe it or not. And I was like, this is it, man. Like, we're not going to get any more from this world. That's crazy, because like this might be one of the best things that we've seen adaptation wise from Stephen King. So I'm really glad they got Stephen King to sign off on it. And he did. That was a point of this, that they were not going to make Welcome to Derry unless he felt like, he gave him the okay. And he met with Andy Muschietti and stuff and Warner Brothers. And they were like, yeah, let's do it. And I love that. I love that. I part of me wishes though, like, kind of want to go to a theater to see this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I almost wish it could have been a movie.
Too. I can back you up on that, Nick, with the chapter 1 and chapter 2 though, because when I saw chapter 2 in the theater, I didn't really like it as much. But a few months ago, we decided, you know what? They just came to Max, I think. Let's watch chapter 1 and chapter 2 back to back and see if it's any different. It made the experience so much better. And I really, really enjoyed chapter 2 this time around, watching it back to back. It just ties in, I think, better when you watch them like that back to back. So I didn't prefer it to the first one, but it's right up there. Like, quality wise, it's not like a sharp drop down or anything.
I also think the adult cast, I think, is great. Like, I think they casted them great. I really, really do. Like, you can see the kid in all of their faces. Like, you really, really can, which is crazy. The only complaint I have about chapter 2 is really just like the de-aging. Like that always annoyed me. They knew they were going to do a second movie.
With Finn Wolfhard.
Like they knew they were going to do that. So I don't know why you didn't just shoot some of that stuff when you were doing chapter 1, but whatever. I let it slide. But chapter 2, I also think in chapter 2, Pennywise is a lot meaner, which makes sense because they're adults. So like,
Yeah.
it's definitely got a darker vibe to it. I remember in the funhouse scene where that kid just gets like exploded by Pennywise. I was like, holy shit. Like, all right, we're not messing around here. Yeah, there's a lot of CGI. That's Andy Muschietti's thing. I don't know. I could do without some of it. Some of it I think is effective. Some of it I feel like is overboard, but I don't really care because Bill Skarsgård's just fucking fantastic. Like, yeah.
JG Michael, he says, you think we could get an extended King TV universe if this does well? King books do that, i.e. Tommy Knocker's reference, Derry. I know wishful thinking. I think with King, I think anything's possible because he is a constant cash cow for Hollywood. And, we constantly go back to his works. I mean, the guy is fruitful too. He's made so many great stories. So, yeah, I think we're even long after he's gone, we're going to see so many King adaptations. It's long after we're gone, we're probably going to see King adaptations of things.
Yeah.
And remakes and whatnot. That's never going to stop, I don't think. But I think we're getting close to closing it out here. I wanted to ask you guys what you guys got coming up. Anything you want to promote before we hang it up, Davey?
Yeah, I've got tomorrow night, Late Night with the Davey comes back. I believe that's episode 44. We got Matt Facci from Facci Cinema coming on to do Start Bench Cut, which is kind of like our, PG version of Fuck, Marry, Kill. We're gonna be ranking things start bench cut from 1970s horror and 1980s horror. So we prepare some items for each other. But what's really fun is when people jump into the live chat. That'll be 9 p.m. Wednesday tomorrow. When people jump into the live chat and throw out their items that they want us to rank start bench cut. So just kind of a fun. Usually those are only like hour and a half. They're pretty easily digestible. And guys, I don't know if you're watching the show, if you've been enjoying the show for a while and you're like, who's this Davey guy? I'm only 16 subs away from hitting 1,400. It's not really a milestone, but it would feel really cool if some of y'all would hop on over to my page and throw a sub. I go live a lot. Like we have a lot of fun. We do. I mean, occasionally I do watch parties, but a lot of topical discussion. Sometimes I just sort of jump in and let the chat, kind of prod the conversation along. I love interacting with the audience. So if you're one of those people that loves being in the chat and you love just having that interaction with the community, that's something that I truly believe in cultivating over there on my channel. And then, I've got some fun stuff coming up for the rest of the month. So if you check out the page and subscribe, you can see what we've got laid out. And I've got some bigger plans for this summer, but I'm not going to talk about them yet because I don't want Lee to think that I'm just like lining stuff up that I'm never going to do. There you go.
Don't you do it.
I won't do it.
Yeah, there you go. Nick?
Everybody, I second that. Go check out Davey's channel. He's good people. And, if you're going to support the show, support all the boys on the show. Lee's the head of the snake, but hey, we're little cogs in that too. I wanted to let you all know that I will be having a my Jason Universe rant will drop tomorrow. I edited that. I'll have that on my channel tomorrow. I'm also going to do like a revisited video on The Dream Child and how I think that movie had so much promise had they just taken a little bit more time to perfect that script, because I really think that movie gets a lot of unnecessary shit. If you want to shit on Freddy's Dead, totally get it. But the kernels are there with Dream Child for sure. And I'll be checking out Mission Impossible on Thursday as well. So I've got some things coming on my channel this week. So check me out too at the Lost River Drive-In if you feel so inclined. And Lee died.
And
Lee, where's your?
Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I lost my camera for some reason. I don't know. That's weird. Oh well, I guess I'll be faceless for the rest of this. But as far as like what I got, it's the same old. I got Mission Impossible. I'm seeing that tomorrow night, so I'm probably going to get an out of theater reaction for that. A lot of horror new releases keep cropping up. Some stuff that's coming to VOD. I saw the Fear Street Prom Queen. I got the review done and everything. So I got to put that out.
He can't tell us about it.
I can't. Yeah, embargo's not for another few days, I think. So I can't even drop the review for another few days. So I can't even tell you if I liked it or if I thought it was just okay. you know. So yeah, there you go.
Oh, he
Be
can tell us
careful.
in
No.
secret.
Yeah.
Or if it was just okay. I can't really tell you that. So anyway, guys,
I can neither confirm nor deny those reports.
exactly. Okay. So anyway, guys, you guys have a wonderful night. Be sure to check out the podcast. I'm going to have it uploaded tomorrow, and be sure I have Davey and Nick's channels in the info box always. Be sure to give them a sub if you have. Let's get Davey to 1,400. Okay, guys.
Let's do it.
It'd be cool. It would be cool.
Yep. Love you guys. Take care.
See y'all.
Take